Stay with me for a moment, because what you're about to hear, most people never understand. Not because it's complicated, but because they're too busy trying too hard. Power is not loud. It doesn't argue. It doesn't chase. And it definitely doesn't need approval. Yet somehow, there are people who walk into a room, say very little, and still control the entire energy. People listen to them, respect them, even adjust around them, not because they forced it, but because of how they carry themselves. And today, I'm going to show you 7 psychological shifts that instantly change how people see you. No manipulation, no fake confidence, just small changes that create a completely different presence. So don't rush this. Listen slowly, because each point builds on the next. And by the end, you won't need to try harder. You'll just feel different. 1. Control the pace, control the power. Powerful people don't rush. They set the tempo. In any interaction, the person who controls the pace often controls the outcome. Most people speak quickly, respond instantly, and move conversations forward without thinking. This creates a reactive energy, and reactive people are rarely seen as powerful. Instead, slow everything down slightly. Take a brief pause before answering. Speak at a steady, unhurried speed. Let silence exist without filling it. This does 2 things psychologically. First, it signals confidence. Your brain is not under pressure, so others assume you're in control. Second, it shifts the other person into a waiting position. Even a 1-second pause makes them subconsciously adjust to your timing. In negotiations, leadership, or even casual conversations, this creates subtle authority. Also, slowing down gives you processing time, which means better responses instead of emotional reactions. Most people lose power because they react too quickly. Remember, fast equals reactive. Slow equals controlled. You don't need to dominate the conversation. You just need to own the rhythm of it. 2. Speak in conclusions, not explanations. Powerful communication is not about saying more. It's about saying final statements. Most people explain too much because they want approval. They soften their words with phrases like, I think maybe, I'm not sure, but what I'm trying to say is. These reduce authority instantly. Instead, speak in clear conclusions. This works better. That's not the right approach. We should change this. When you remove uncertainty from your language, people assume certainty in your thinking. Psychologically, the brain associates clarity with competence. Even if someone disagrees, they still respect the delivery. Important. This is not about arrogance. It's about decisiveness. If needed, you can always explain later, but lead with the conclusion first. Also, avoid repeating yourself. Saying something once and stopping creates weight. Repeating signals doubt. People respect clarity more than correctness. So next time you speak, don't build up to your point. Say it directly. 3. Use strategic eye contact to anchor presence. Eye contact is one of the fastest ways to shift how people perceive you. But power doesn't come from staring, it comes from controlled presence. Here's the difference. Weak eye contact leads to looks away too quickly. Aggressive eye contact leads to stares too intensely. Powerful eye contact leads to steady, relaxed, natural. When you speak, maintain eye contact long enough to show confidence, then break it naturally. When listening, hold it slightly longer. This signals attention and control. There's also a subtle technique. After you finish speaking, hold eye contact for 1 extra second. This makes your words feel more intentional and grounded. Psychologically, humans associate eye contact with honesty, confidence, dominance. But the key is calmness. If your eyes are steady, your presence feels stable. Also, avoid looking around too much while talking. That signals distraction and lowers perceived authority. Where your eyes go, your power follows. So keep your gaze controlled, relaxed, and present. 4. Limit your emotional reactions. Powerful people are not emotionless. They are emotionally selective. Most people react to everything: criticism, disagreement, tone changes, small provocations, and every reaction gives away control. When you react instantly, you show that your state can be influenced externally. But when you choose your reactions, something changes. People start seeing you as stable, and stability creates authority. For example, if someone challenges you, instead of reacting defensively, pause, listen, respond only if needed. This creates psychological uncertainty. Why didn't they react? Now the other person becomes more aware of themselves. Also, emotional control prevents escalation. You stay grounded while others fluctuate, and that contrast increases your presence. Important distinction: suppressing emotions, controlling expression. You still feel everything, you just don't show everything. The less predictable your reactions, the more powerful your presence. 5. Make your attention selective. Attention is a form of value. Most people give it away freely, instantly replying, constantly engaging, always being available. This lowers perceived importance. Powerful individuals do the opposite. They are selective with attention. They don't react immediately to everything. They don't engage in every conversation. They choose where to focus. This creates scarcity, and responses more. This doesn't mean ignoring people or being rude. It means being intentional. For example, instead of reacting instantly, take a moment. Instead of responding to everything, choose what matters. Not everything deserves your energy. And when people feel that your attention must be earned, your presence becomes more powerful. 6. Ask better questions than everyone else. Most people try to impress by talking. Powerful people influence by asking. But not random questions, precise, thoughtful questions. For example, instead of saying, "That won't work," ask, "What outcome are we aiming for here?" Now you control direction without forcing it. Good questions do 3 things. They shift attention, they guide thinking, they position you as aware and analytical. Psychologically, when you ask strong questions, people assume you understand more than you say. Also, questions make others invest in the conversation. They start explaining, thinking, and engaging deeper. And the more someone invests, the more influence you gain. The smartest person in the room is often the one asking the best questions. So instead of trying to dominate, guide. 7. End conversations first. Subtle exit power. The way you end interactions affects how people remember you. Most people wait for conversations to fade out awkwardly. Powerful people exit intentionally. Ending a conversation slightly earlier than expected creates psychological impact. It signals you value your time. You're not dependent on interaction. You control your engagement. For example, instead of dragging a conversation, say calmly, "All right, I'll catch you later." Good talking. Let's continue another time. Simple, clean, controlled. This creates positive tension. People are left wanting a little more, which increases your perceived value. Also, when you exit first, you avoid overexposure. The longer you stay unnecessarily, the more your presence loses impact. Leave while the energy is still good. That's how people remember you. Final insight. Power is not about being loud, aggressive, or dominant. It's about control, clarity, timing, presence. Master these, and people will feel your influence, even when you say very little. Now take a second and notice something. You didn't learn anything loud, nothing complicated, just small shifts, subtle changes. But these are the things most people ignore, and that's exactly why they work. Power doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing things differently. The way you pause, the way you speak, the way you look, the way you respond. All of it is being noticed, even when no one says anything. So don't try to use everything at once. Pick one, practice it, feel it, then slowly let it become natural. Because once it becomes natural, you don't have to think about power anymore. People will feel it. And if you stay till the end, that already says something. I'll see you in the next one.